So we have seen that two main parts of a plant are there, the root system and the shoot system. Here, this is the root system. So the system or the part of a plant that remains under the ground is called the root system, and the part of a plant that remains above the ground is called the shoot system. Here in this picture you can see that this part which I am indicating with this cursor or pointer, this part is called the root system because it remains inside the ground. See, this line is indicating the line of the ground, the brown line. So this plant is inside or underground and this portion is above the ground. So this part you can also see that it is indicated by this black line. So this part is called root. This part remains under the ground. And this part, this green part, the whole green part here, the whole green part, you can also see that it is indicated here with this third bracket. So it is called the shoot system. So the part of the body, the part of the plant that remains above the ground level is called the shoot system, and the part of the plant which remains under the ground is called the root system. Now in this picture it is clearly shown here that shoot system has four different parts. The flowers here, my pointer is here, you can see that this plant has yellow colored flowers. The leaves, these are called the leaves, green colored leaves. These are the fruits, red colored fruits, and this green colored, this portion is called the. So root system and shoot system are the two main parts of a plant. Root system remains under the ground and shoot system remains above the ground. Shoot system also had four different parts. One is the flower, the leaf, the fruit, and the stem. Beside this, buds of flowers are also there, and inside the fruit there are seeds. Now from this picture, you can also see the different types of roots. In the last class, I have also told you that two different types of roots are there, and those are the tap roots and the fibrous roots. So at the right side of this picture, you can see it is written there also that the root, the picture of the root that is at the right side of this page is the example of a tap root, and the picture that is at the left side is an example of the fibrous root. So what is taproot? When the main root grows from the end of the stem and many small roots grow from its main root is called a taproot. Tap roots are very strong and sturdy. So what are taproot? In case of taproot, one main root grows from the end of the stem. So here you look at my pointer. I am indicating it with my pointer or the arrow that you can see on the screen. So this is the portion, the image at the right side of the page is the taproot. Now this green portion is the stem. This green portion is the stem, and from the end of the stem, from the end of the stem, one strong main root grows. So you can see only one strong main root is there, only one strong main root is there, and from that main root many small roots grow. So you can also see that many small roots here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So many small roots are growing from this main root. So this is the main root. This is very strong. This main root is coming out from the end of the stem. This green portion is stem. from the end of the stem, this main root is coming out, and from this main root, very small roots are coming out from the main root. So when only one main root comes out from the end of the stem, and from that main root, many small roots come out, those roots are called the tap roots. Examples of tap roots are mustard, cotton, balsam, mango, neem, etc. Now tap roots. Here in this picture, the picture at the left side of the page, you can see this is an example of fibrous root. So what is fibrous root? When a number of roots grow from the end of a stem, it is called fibrous root. So in case of taproot, we have seen that only one main root is there. But in fibrous root, no main root is there. A number of roots grow from the end of the stem. So this green portion is the stem. From the end of the stem, a number of small roots are growing here. This is called the fibrous root. These fibrous roots are made up of large number of roots. Wheat, rice, grass, onion, these are the examples of roots. So I hope you have understood properly what are the roots, how roots help the plants, and what are the different types of roots. Now the shoot system. I have already told you about the shoot system. Let us discuss it again. So this green portion in total is called the shoot system. The shoot system includes the above ground structures of a plant. So the structure of a plant that remains above the ground is called the shoot system. That means it includes leaves, buds, stems, flowers, and fruits of a plant. Here in this picture, you can see there are leaves, there are flowers, there are fruits, and there are stems. All of these are the part of the shoot system. Some plants use their stems for storage. Desert cacti store water and food in their stems. So, what is the name of the plant that stores water and food in their stems? The name of the plant is desert cacti. Desert cacti stores water and food in their stem. Stems transports water and food from the plant's roots to its leaves and flowers. They also support leaves and flowers. You may think all stems are easy to see, like that of a tree, but some stems stay underground. The potato you eat is an underground stem. Stems of small plants such as coriander, etc. are soft and green. Stems of plants such as rose are firm, strong, and often thick. So here are some examples of different kinds of stems. Some stems also remain inside the ground, as we have learned that stems also or shoot system always remain above the ground. But some exceptional cases are there. Like some stems do not stay above the ground; they stay inside the ground. And the example of such stem is potato. And corianders have very soft and green stems. Just like that, roses have very firm, strong, and thick stems. Now you go to page 16. Okay, so now first of all, before going to page 16, you are telling that do you have any problem in understanding this portion up to this portion?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So you have understood properly what is the root system and what is the shoot system?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see my screen, you can see the picture properly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, very good. Now you open page number 16.
Ma'am, open.
Okay, here you can see. So this is page number 16 from your book. Here you can see that we will have to learn about the leaves. We have seen that the shoot system has so many different parts. They are the flowers, the leaves, the fruits, the stems. So now we will learn about the leaves. The leaves of a plant make the food. It helps plants to survive. The water and nutrients are taken in by the roots. Then the water moves upward through the stem to the leaves. The leaves take sunlight and carbon dioxide from the air and convert the nutrients to plant food. This process is called photosynthesis. We eat the leaves of some plants such as lettuce and spinach. Leaves are also called the kitchen or food factories of the plant because they make food for the entire plant. Leaves are of different shapes and sizes. So in this section, we can learn about the process called photosynthesis. Now we all need food to remain alive for our survival. This food we get from the plants. Plants can make their own food, but we cannot make our own food ourselves. We need to take the food from the plants. Now plants can make their own food. How plants make this food? We get the food from the plants. But have you ever thought that from where the plants get their food? The plants make their food inside their leaves, inside their green leaves. And as when we make our food in our kitchen, so plants are making their food in the leaves. This is why leaves are called the kitchen or food factories of a plant, because they make the food for the entire plant. Now, what is photosynthesis? At first, the water and nutrients are absorbed by the roots from the soil. The roots then transfer the water and the nutrients, or give the water and the nutrients to the stem. You just imagine what I am telling you. You imagine this. Roots are absorbing water and nutrient from the soil, then they are giving it to the stem. Then stem is carrying the water and nutrient and gives it to the leaves of a plant, or transports it to the different parts, mainly to the leaves. And when these water and nutrients reach the leaves take in the carbon dioxide from the environment, and they also take in the sunlight. So they have now the sunlight, the carbon dioxide, and the water and nutrients from the soil. And these are all the components by which they will make their food. So they use all these things and make their food. This process by which green plants make their own food in their leaves is called the photosynthesis. So the process by which we make our food, it's called cooking. We all know that. Just like that, the process by which plants make their own food is called the photosynthesis. And we need, suppose when we make our food, we need different things, like if we are making rice, we need the rice and we need water, then we need to boil it, we need fire, right? Suppose we are making rice. What do we need? We need water, we need rice, and we need fire. Then we use all these things. We use the fire, we use the water, and then we make the rice. Just like that, plants also need to make their food. For making their food, they need carbon dioxide, they need sunlight, and they need water and nutrients. The water and nutrients they take from the soil. And who helps them to get the water and nutrients to take from the soil? The root helps them, because root is there under the ground. The root takes the water and the nutrients and gives it to the stem. The stem then carries the water and nutrient to the leaves and gives it to the leaves. There the leaves uses the carbon dioxide that is taken from the environment and the sunlight and the water and nutrient. And with these four components, it makes its own food inside the leaf. This process of making the food is called photosynthesis. And as the food is made in the leaves, this is why leaves are called the kitchen or food factories of a plant. Different plants have different shapes and sizes of their leaves. You must have seen that. So here we will learn about different parts of a leaf. Leaf has different parts. Now I will show you a picture in which you can understand it properly. Okay, look at this picture on the screen. In this picture, the different parts of a leaf are indicated properly. So this portion, the point of a leaf or the pointed portion in front of a leaf is called the tip. Here you can see I am also indicating with the help of the pointer, and it is already indicated there. So the pointed portion at the front of a leaf is called the tip. There is a prominent vein or a prominent line just at the center of the leaf. You can see a straight line at the center of the leaf. This straight line is called the midrib or the midvein. Okay, and you can see that several or different small veins are coming out from this midrib. These are called veins, and these veins and midrib make a chain of veins or a network of veins. Now this portion, that is the sideline of a leaf, the sideline of a leaf is called the margin of a leaf. This flat portion, this total flat portion, broad flat green portion of a leaf is called the lamina. This is the lamina. This total portion is called the lamina. You can see in green, this total flat broad portion of the leaf is called lamina. Now come to this portion, the part by which a leaf is attached to the stem is called the petiole. So this is the petiole. You can see the pointer here. So this is the petiole. So the part by which a leaf is attached to the stem is called the petiole. So I'm quickly telling it again. So a leaf have different parts like tip, midrib, margin, vein, lamina, petiole, etc. What is tip? The pointed portion in front of a teeth is called in front of a leaf is called a tip. So the pointed portion present in front of a in the front side of a leaf is called the tip. The straight line present at the center of the leaf is called the midrib or midvein. Many different small veins come out of the midrib. These are called the veins, and these veins and midrib together makes the network of veins. The sideline of the sideline of the leaf is called the margin. The flat, broad, green portion of a leaf is called the lamina, and the part of a leaf which attaches the leaf with the stem is called the petiole. Now let's go back to the page of your book. Here I'm also quickly reading the portion what is written in your book. Let's see that. This is the page from your book, page number 16. So look at the portion parts of a leaf. The flat and broad portion of a leaf is called leaf blade. The line going through the center of the leaf is called main vein or midrib. A lot of small veins arise from the main vein, forming a network of veins. The main vein of the leaf is called petiole. The underside of the leaf has very tiny pores called stomata. The stomata allows the exchange of gases. So here is an extra line in which it is saying that on the surface of the leaves there are very tiny holes or pores. Through these pores, plants give out oxygen to the environment and take in carbon dioxide from the environment. This process, giving out one gas and taking in one gas, this process is called the exchange of gases. And the tiny pores that helps the plant in this exchange of gases are called the stomata. So mark up to this portion. The tiny holes present on the surface of a leaf. So stomata are the tiny holes present on the surface of a leaf, and through these tiny holes, plants perform their gaseous exchange. Gaseous exchange means during photosynthesis, they take in the carbon dioxide from the environment and give out the oxygen into the environment. This process is called the exchange of gases. And this exchange of gases is done through the stomata. So stomata are the tiny holes, small tiny pores present on the leaf surface. Okay.
Yes,
Any more problem?